So last night's jump out over the thermocouple did not work. It ended up fucking up really bad. So I put the protective controller back in, the new one. You can see it's new. Took out the old one. And then I put these jumper wires in on the cat eye connection to be able to see what the hell it's doing. Haven't gone after that thing yet, because I just don't think it's these things we're chasing. I don't know anymore, but I did run a wire for the voltage. It's connected to the feed line, and I get my neutral from there, the incoming neutral. And so I'm going to fire this up, see what the cat eye's saying. I don't know why that OL keeps popping up. That's very strange to me. Had all those numbers. Alright, so the circulation fan just clicked on because of the temp. So all by itself it's doing that shit. I mean, it's almost like I can't even blame the cat eye, because if it's seeing variations in the brightness of the flame, that should be normal and compensated for. But why it keeps dropping out to OL, so let's just theorize, if it drops out to OL with any sort of length in time, it's going to push it to the safety switch kick out, but that would be permanent. That would kick out and I'd have to reset it. But it's not doing that. It's clicking back and forth. But why is that running right now with OL? I mean, it kind of goes back to my original theory about the base of the cat eye having a loose connection, and it gets worse when it gets warm. Right now, it's been a little while since I ran this, because I put the box on. I've been working on it, and I turned it down. I didn't want it to come on. I cut the power off, changing the box, blah blah blah. But right now I stand here getting confused about these resistance readings, because I remember us. Alright, there it goes. We just did it one time. That's some kind of problem, but why is it not reacting when it sees OL. I mean, is that resistance heater, thermal? Not, I don't want to say that word. I mean, really, what the fuck? I've been up since fucking 1:30 this morning again because I woke up in bed and heard it try to come on and it just shut off. Didn't trip out. It just was sitting there fucked up. But I mean, we're 5-6 minutes into the startup now. And it did it, what, twice? I mean, completely random shit. And I don't know, right now in my head, again, like my head's so fucked up. I don't know if those readings of 28, 30, 27, 31, 34, I don't know if those readings are out of range, but if they were, safety would kick out the button, like permanently until someone fucking reset it. But I have this random horse shit that right now it's not making it do a fucking thing. It's just running. It's just like normal. I mean, even while I was dicking with it here a couple hours ago, setting up these wires and shit, changing the safety box, I started to question how I had it wired. The incoming black feed, as far as I could tell, I was monitoring it. It had a steady 120 volts coming from, I don't know exactly where from, but coming from this wiring. It doesn't, the feed doesn't come directly from the breaker, in other words. It comes up in through here and goes up to the cutout switch, or I gotta say it goes up to the cutout switch because all those wires just go up. The only one that curves right there, goes down or comes up, is that wire right there. And that goes into there. And it's really hard to see the feed for that piece of shit because it's down inside. Like you can see those wires load in line, here and here. But down in here, you can't see a fucking thing. You're like, there's not even. That's what I was telling you before. So the burner like shut off, satisfied from the thermostat. And the cat eye is continuing to, it had those reactions as you saw, like 3,000, but then it settled out to OL. Like OL meaning I don't see any flame, because the flame's out now. So my question is during this last 8-9 minutes when we kept randomly seeing OL, there was a fucking flame. Oh, see that go? Where did that come from? Where did that come from? There's no flame. I'm assuming that OL means there's no flame, it's dark as fuck. I mean, maybe it's getting a little random, you know, ambient light. Like, and I don't want to confuse things, but ambient light can come, like, it's got to get underneath this transformer. This transformer has a seal, almost looks like a water seal. It's a piece of foam, and it cuts out all air, or I'm sorry, light. That's its purpose. But the only place where it's kind of fucked is right there, down inside, where it transfers from the control box into the chamber, the burner chamber. Underneath the transformer, there's all these wire nuts and connections that make this stuff. And I mean, a little bit of light can leak down through this area, but I have taken duct tape, not duck, but duct. It's a silver on the outside. It's really sticky, in other words, but I covered all this shit all the way down through there, underneath here, so no light could get in that motherfucker. And it didn't seem to make any difference. I think that little bit of opening becomes irrelevant because, I don't know, let me just demonstrate another thing. If I take my flashlight and I shine it right in that fucking area, it doesn't affect it at all. And that's direct shit. I mean, if it would affect it, I'd say, oh yeah, let's put some tape on that fucker, because, you know, it's affecting it, blah, 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 but it's not. So the firebox, not the circulation box cooled down enough where that thing controls it. It says, okay, we're cool enough, it's safe. Shut the blower fan down, which is up in here, motherfucker. I put this shield back up. It's just a deflection shield. A real whore. It just diverts air for whatever fucking reason. I haven't really figured that out. But bear with me here. I'm trying to do this without a professional camera crew. So that's the motor, that's the circulation squirrel cage box, that's the discharge heat exhaust. That goes down into the heat exchanger and blah, blah, blah. And that's what we're calling the thermocouple that attaches to the top surface via that hex screw in the back and front, which is impossible. And I jumped that out last night, and that didn't end up making a difference. Oh, here comes Toby, right on cue. You need to go out, fucking Toby? Is that what you need? Come on. Take your time. Yeah, fucking let me hold the door. Come on. Okay, fuck you. Look at that little asshole. He's more curious as to what I'm doing. Don't get in there. There is no fucking rabbits in there. Get back, you little spaz. He's awful cute, though. He has me wrapped around his claw. Okay, not for the sideshow. So anyway, I mean, this all operates to me properly. It's, see, I got my door switch stuck closed so I can do this. And, Jesus Christ, I'm just trying to give you a fucking rundown. So that's the incoming 110. So I'm assuming the thermostat just called for it to come back on because I haven't touched that. And I've got the Honeywell in there that only lets it drop 2 degrees and then fucking wants to reheat, which is a little bit annoying. It's a little too frequent for my liking because it uses the shit out of the fucking furnace. I'm gonna end up putting the old-fashioned Miller one back on because, you know, I've changed that now 6 times and it's not the fucking problem, allegedly. I can feel the heat coming out of this box because, I mean, it's getting warm. And pretty soon that controller, as it just did, turns on that motor. There's a little bit of vibration wobble, but it's always been like that. There's nothing fucking unusual. But yeah, so to continue here, this red wire right there is the incoming black line, and it goes to that fat black wire which goes up into here, and I'm assuming it goes up to there, but yet I could be wrong because it goes over to this first, and it says I'm 190 degrees, I'm hot. I gotta turn off the burner. So I'm a little confused on to the routing of this wiring. But that should be irrelevant. No one's changed this routing. No one's, other than our understanding of how that prick bitch cunt right there operates. But now, mind you, to clear your mind again, I did a 110 volt voltage test on the incoming black line to the whole burner mechanism, the whole feed to the controller cutout. And that was a steady 120 volts. Never varied, never dropped off even for a second. The only thing that's acting fucking weird is, again, that fucking cat eye. But you're not going to be awake probably till like noon. Because you probably drank too much coffee and kept you up. But, you know, whatever. It's not like we got to get up and go to jobs. It's just, I'm a little bit anxious for you to see this. There she goes. So it's 37, 33, 32, 39, 34. And then when I'm saying that, the decimal point is all the way to the very end. It's like, it's really like reading 386 or something, 0.0 or whatever. And in my head, I gotta look at my notes I jotted down, which are a complete fucking mess. I think you were telling me that even though that guy was using a base of 6, and I can't tell you right now if that was 6,000, 6 megas, or just 6 ohms, that even if it was under it, it was good. But I don't know if it tells us it was good, okay, fire, continue to run. See, that's why this shit gets me all fucked up, because I've been doing this too long with too many failures. Now that went out on thermostat, but you can see like it jumped around, but it again went to OL like it did before. So it seems like when the thermostat cuts the burner and the motor and the transformer. Now, the other thing you got to understand that I don't think that you were given the proper sequences. Like every once in a while you throw in kerosene pump or oil pump, which is that thing right there. Now in some units they have a solenoid mounted right where my I-beam is. I-beam. See, it's too early. But anyway, there's a solenoid that they ended up mounting right there, and the reason for that was so that there was an instantaneous shutdown of fuel, regardless of the motor, the squirrel cage down in here for the burner, the motor, which operates the squirrel cage, which is down there in front of that, and it does the pump. So mine doesn't have the solenoid to, they just made it more efficient. They put this solenoid in there so it would instantaneously cut the fuel with a valve, rather than, let's say the squirrel cage continued to rotate a little bit out of momentum to stop pumping fuel out the nozzle. I mean, I think we're talking like 2 mice teardrop kind of shit, or rats, or human teardrops, I don't know, but it wouldn't be that much, but it was enough for them to fucking tweak it. And so now, mind you, there's no electronics that go to that pump. It's all mechanical. It's operated by that motor, which primarily, well, I shouldn't say that word, but the motor does the squirrel cage, which forces mixed air, which is that setting. Okay, that hex screw that I've got highlighted, it gets hard to see when it's bright, but it's right there. Then there's these little slots along this diaphragm, I'll call it, that allows the fresh air to be calibrated to be mixed properly with the flame. So you're mixing, like most combustion, intake air, fuel, metered via the nozzle, and these are more of a mechanical setting, and not the nozzle's mechanical, but I'm just for the sake of the demonstration. Anyway, that's my bleeder valve. It ain't got no fucking air bubbles. Fuck that. Fuck that door switch. Fuck that cutout. I'd like to say fuck that, because that seems to be operating. But what's not fucking playing nicely is this cat eye, in my opinion. But here's the thing. Maybe these readings are okay. I'm going to go look at my notes, so I don't know that while I'm speaking with you. But maybe these readings are acceptable, but if they are, and I'm just seeing these fucking random measurements as you are, and then we saw the same thing like we're seeing right now while it was running, which is really bizarre because there's no flame. And what's making this relay click without it going through its purpose of a 45-second no flame cutout. I mean, its primary function is no flame, danger. We're pumping fuel because we're mechanical. And I've witnessed it when it pumps fuel and then it fires. It fucking sounds like it's thundering. It's scary. But it hasn't done that since I've put in the proper nozzle, because when it was dirty and I had the wrong nozzle and the nozzle was all dirty, it happened occasionally, like real kind of occasion, not very often. When I originally started looking at this furnace, this is last year or a year and a half ago, it was because it was doing those explosions almost every time it started up. Because it was so fucking dirty. I hadn't serviced it in so long. And I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I was just going blind and did a little homework, but so I took it to the store and I got the same nozzle that was in there. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's change an apple with an apple. Don't be crazy. Because it's dirty. It's probably just dirty. So that's why that got back in there. And that one only had, a year and a half on it. And it was already kind of dirty, which was a problem to me because it's kerosene. That's the cleanest fucking burn you'll get other than gas. And, like I say, originally, when I moved in here, this fucking furnace ran for almost 4 years without me really touching it beautifully. And then because I neglected it for 4 years, it started to, do that thunder start. But that was it. It was just a thunder start. It was not all this nonsense clicking out fucking crazy shit. I mean, occasionally, if the thunder start didn't thunder start soon enough, the red button would click out. And that was in the very beginning when I started to have trouble years ago. And I would just simply push the button and it would start. And then I'd get a little heat, and I pacified that for a while until I was ready to tear into it with the parts and the nozzle and do my little Paul Kruger service. But anyway, this is about a half-hour video. I don't know. I guess I'll send it to you through email. I don't know if you'll be able to view it that way, or I might have to load it up onto my YouTube page, which is another nightmare motherfucker for me. I'm not good at it. But somehow I'll try to get it to you. Wake the fuck up. Get a coffee. Smell the roses. It's time for snowmobiling. What the fuck is that beeping for? It's just... That's my meter beeping. Oh, it's probably because the battery's low. Or it's sitting idle. It's I think it's because it's sitting idle. I don't have a battery. Yeah, see, it just shut itself off. And I think it does that after a period of time. It's been doing that. Because I've had it on there, a half hour, and it was operating. But when it's stagnant, it seems like if it's 10 minutes, it'll go off. But I'm going to... Jesus Christ, one more fucking thing. I guess I'll tear into the battery on that and replace it if I have one that fits it. But that's my meter, motherfucker. It's a good meter. Stop shitting on it, bitch.